Oh, yeah. Hey, what's up? Sorry.
This is an audio-based podcast, Mo. We don't like looking at you. We like listening to you.
Didn't see you there, people. Oh,
Sorry.
Flag plus football.
I was sniffing some sugary donuts in my...
Sugar is code for cocaine.
Yeah.
Donuts is code for more cocaine.
That's right. Welcome to Calling the Audible.
Hi.
He's Della, Reeze. Eagle, a little bit annoyed.
Hello. I mean,
As we like to start every show.
I live annoyed, so this is just
Lanoid.
regular.
Yeah, exactly. Eagle's annoyed like normal, which we like.
It's
odd
weird
for
when
us.
he's happy.
Well, he was happy a few minutes ago.
Then we took it away.
Yeah, his eyes lit up. Like, oh my God, you guys see this?
I got to teach Peeze something on the internet.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
most things. How to connect to Wi-Fi was the teaching of today.
As we are now.
Is it Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi? I'm
Wi-Fi.
still learning.
Oh my God, please.
So what do we call this round? The knockout round or the qualification round?
Qualification round.
Yeah, there's like such a high-end word for such a normal thing here of qualification round. We play the same teams over again, more or less. But
Actually, I play all different teams.
yeah, no,
Except for co-ed. Co-ed
right.
doesn't.
Same.
Although I
teams.
get to play the Rock. I didn't get to play them first round.
We get to play them now.
So there you go.
So we are now where was that? Almost the halfway point, right? The FPF Cup season, and
Well, halfway of the regular season, in any case. We just
right.
passed it,
We
actually.
have December 12th is the finals date, and we are at December 16th of this recording. So just a little bit more than 4 weeks left,
Mhm.
and then we're done. And then we have winter season coming up here. Before we get into this whole show, rules committee, Eagle, any update with that? I know you can't reveal rules yet, but
I mean, technically I can.
but you can
Who's
tease
stopping
us.
us?
I mean, nothing's. I can tell you what we changed.
That would
I
be
won't,
That
but I
would be
could.
ideal. Aw. Tell us what hasn't changed.
Almost
Tell
everything.
Us, tell us the rules that got refused.
So there are a few that were just straight up refused. One of them, which was actually a point of contention, was a change of what happens to field position after a safety. So today, if you're the defense and you get a safety, e.g. sack the quarterback in the end zone, in their own end zone, you get 2 points, and your offense gets the ball at your own 10. There was a suggestion to put the ball at midfield. We considered it, but we voted it down because we felt that already FPF, as much as you can consider a safety a defensive play, you're putting your offense in such an advantageous position already in the fact that you've denied them a possession, scored points, and you get the ball, that getting the ball at midfield is too much of an offensive advantage at that point.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think most offenses are quite proficient from half field. I would say like even Div 5 and up. That's we don't have the stats on this, but I'd assume it's probably in the 80%.
Well, to clarify, the rule is supposed to be if it's safety inside 10-yard line, inside the 10-yard line, like as for a punt, like how a punt goes to midfield.
Mm.
If you're sacked when the ball is snapped inside the 10, you go to midfield.
I mean, but most safeties are.
How do you
happen at
not
that-
get? How can you get a safety like a 20-yard bad snap
Yeah,
into the end
it's
zone?
happened.
I've
That's
done
still
it.
a safety. Well, you're gonna have two different types of safeties.
Well, yeah.
It's a safety. You rule it as this is where you get the ball. 2 points and you get the ball here.
How long was the rules meeting yesterday?
About 2 hours.
Jesus.
Well, that's great because usually
That's actually not
Actually,
bad.
more. I think it was 2.5.
because usually when we do it in person, right, it's like 3.5, 4 hours, and Rob tends to buy us the wrong food when certain people don't eat meats.
Another rule we
I
declined
just eat
was a rusher jumping offside is a dead ball whistle, of which we voted no fucking way. How stupid are you, Mocon, for suggesting this as
Why
a
not?
rule?
It happens all the time, though.
No,
It happened
but-
yesterday.
but
It's technically never a penalty. It never is.
Some quarterback. First of all, it's not a penalty as is. Second of all, some quarterbacks know that and use that to their advantage, and it's part of the game.
Easy.
Of the game. I do it all the time. I would say, I try it every game, and in 3 to 4 games it works, and it buys me time on like a 3rd and 20 or 4th and 15.
On a
or
third
anytime.
play, just a dump off for 4 yards.
Yeah.
Punt!
Look, either way, I'm not throwing downfield, but I want to at least get the look.
Of course. So there were rules that were passed, though, overall. How many rules were passed that we will see in the coming week?
Quite a few actually. So
Can you give us one rule that will really perk the ears for those who might be intrigued?
So one thing we've changed is the idea of rusher protection. As you're aware today, once the center actually sets the ball down for the snap, the rusher can change sides or he loses immunity on that play. We've made a slight change
So he's
in
not
that.
immunized then.
I mean, you can't change side to basically you have like rusher immunity essentially.
Well,
right?
it depends.
Like,
Do you take ivermectin or
Yeah.
do you get the actual vaccine?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just curious.
So we've changed it now such that if after the center sets the ball, the rusher has to be in his position. If the offense changes its formation or kind of like its positioning, the rusher is allowed to shift over. So, for example, everyone gets to the line. You're in base formation. Center sets the ball down. Rusher is on the right
So you
side
only
of the
the
quarterback.
offense is only considered set when they're in their final formation.
Pretty much.
So
And
at that point, the rusher
if
cannot change sides.
if the offense shifts its position once the center has been set, essentially the rusher can keep immunity regardless of what side he's on. So he can change sides if he wants, and he will still maintain the immunity essentially.
So here's a tip for new quarterbacks learning to play the game, tier 3 or guys even substituting in tier 2. When that happens, when you see the rusher change side, what I do personally is I walk right up to the line of scrimmage, I point at him, and I turn to the refs and say, he has no protection, to make sure that we all remember this after the play,
So
because it's happened that referees do forget.
So funny enough, based on the new wording right here, that would actually allow him to change sides now by you walking towards the line. Because the way the rules
So if
gonna
I
be
stay
written,
set, if I stay, no, because I'm not changing the formation.
so this is the way it's going to be written essentially. It's what we already have, which is he loses protection if he changes side,
Right.
unless Team A changes its formation. A change in formation is positional change by a Team A player. So you as a quarterback, if you're behind center and you walk to the line and point at him, technically you've changed position and you're
guess.
allowed.
I mean,
to
not
go.
really, because I can't get a snap from.
So let me
underneath.
get
True,
this
but
straight here.
technically that's enough.
You have a base formation, 2x2 receiver formation, right?
Mhm.
So the inside slot on the right side takes 2 steps to his left.
Technically that's
Change of
positional
position.
And
change.
so the snapper
The
can
rusher
change.
is now
So
allowed to
any slight movement, the rusher can change his position.
That
he or
is the
she.
way we're going
He or
to set up
she.
standards, obviously, because part of the okay. So let's give some behind the scenes as well. Whatever rules we vote on are more for the rulebook changes themselves, but then these also go off to the rules, like I'll call it SARS on the referee side, where they update their standards, the way they apply them, they teach them to the other referees, and so that's going to be part of the standard of what is considered like true movement. Like for example, if like you kind of like you get a little bit antsy, you kind of move your feet around. Is that true movement? Do you actually have to
No,
shift?
but I will
that
say,
type of
like,
stuff.
once in a while when I'm at the line, this is happening with me in co-ed, for example, because it's a team that I haven't played with before. So sometimes my wides will line up tighter than I want them, and
Yeah.
I'll say like, "Hey, to the sideline."
That would
That's
count.
technically changing formation,
Yep.
So any motion by the offense is enabling
Correct.
the
We're trying to make
rusher
it very
to-
black and white on this, right?
which is fine. So like,
and
with
the idea
with
here
the
is
new rule, do what Peeze does. Just don't go to the line. Just from your position, call out. He has no protection. He has no protection. Just so that way everyone on the field's aware. Your snapper included, by the way, because your snapper might not have noticed it.
So that's exactly it. So the reason why this rule exists to begin with is because as a snapper, you put your head down, you knew where the rusher was. As your head is down, the rusher changes sides, right?
Yes.
So you have no idea that he did that because you're looking down at that point. And so when you're running your route, you had planned for him to be in a certain spot and you didn't adjust for it. What we're trying to change here is, well, you can use that to force the rusher to pick a side and then move your offensive playbook to specifically play against that rusher's position.
Right.
So if you're doing that, well, then at that point, you're kind of taking advantage of the situation, in which case then we're saying, well, the rusher should be able to shift and your center should be aware that you're trying to cheat the system, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So well,
Well, I tell the snapper to run at him. So either way, I'm cheating the situation.
right. So
Well,
week
now
by
you wouldn't
week-
be able to.
Well, I still can.
If he collides with him, though, or straight line immunity.
Well, no, but it just forces him to go around.
Yeah.
He
So-
doesn't have immunity.
So we'll have Jason
by week,
LeClaire. He's head of our rules committee. He'll be on in a few episodes once the changes are finalized.
Yeah, I'll kill a couple segments for us. That's perfect
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
show.
What was the term you used? He was immunized, so he doesn't
Yeah.
have it. The rusher in that situation has immunization, not immunity.
Exactly.
How about that?
Yeah.
I mean,
So he'll be on to
Good.
explain
Yes,
everything.
I mean,
Keep in mind, for anyone listening right now, these changes will only apply as of the winter season. So this isn't
Yeah.
going to change next week or something or anything like that. It's going
So-
to take
Correct.
until next year.
One
to
last point
implement.
before we get to the, everything we have lined up here. Should the FPF Cup be used, future FPF Cups be used as the guinea pig to test out rules?
it's
If like, for example, the 4th and 15 onside.
well, yeah. So another quick thing too is the onside kick rule was actually not eligible to be instated because
We tried an iteration last year. It was voted down
was
and
voted
therefore
down,
on
yeah.
moratorium for a year.
Although I don't mind it, because maybe you and I can draw it up for real, like all of the, because we just sort of said this kind of makes sense conceptually, but I left it to rules committee to find a way. Whereas now we could present it as like, hey, I think this should be the hard and
Like,
fast rule.
I just think that the Fall Cup should be used as the test run.
The problem is that the meeting, there's such a small gap between Fall Cup and
you know
between
what?
Spring and Fall Cup.
Let's have a quick meeting. Listen, guys, nominate 5 rules. Let's pick the 3 that we would test run for that Fall Cup. And that's
While
it.
we're adjusting ratings and
Yeah, that's fine.
going through registration,
That's
like it's
Also, it's
I
still
don't
technically a
disagree with your
pandemic.
principle.
Yeah,
Sorry?
It's also still technically a pandemic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of other pseudo
Are we
rules
not
that are in
in
place right
epidemic
now.
now? I thought they downgraded to epidemic. No. Anyway, no story from that day. Winter registration still going on. Eags, how many weeks do we have left before they close the window on that, please?
You still have a couple weeks, I believe.
Okay, so early December is when they will close it. So get that rocking and rolling.
Divisions may already be closed. To be honest, I don't have the exact numbers, but obviously, the sooner you register, the more likely you are to get a spot in the division. Let me just get the details for you.
Right,
One.
as he gets it loaded up. One more thing for Laval. For those who play games in Laval, look, I hate to be the police enforcer here because I don't want to, but we have to abide by the rules. So essentially, guys, until they change these rules, there can be no fans allowed inside the bubble. And that's something that it's out of our hands. I know people are upset about it. Say, hey, I brought my girlfriend, boyfriend out with me. And I said, listen, guys, it's nothing I can do. It's what it is here. Because Laval only allows us to have 25 people per field. So that's 2 teams plus staff members and referees. So we can ill afford to have any extras until they change that rule. So for those playing in Laval, for at least now, for the foreseeable future, we cannot have more than the allotment of teams and the referees and staff. So keep that in mind as well. Eags, an update now for the winter registration. Are we good to go?
Well, you have until officially Monday, December 6th, which is when we'll close registration. So
And
get
the
your teams
season
in before
begins
then.
January 8th and 9th, right?
That is
weekend.
correct. The season begins on Saturday, January 8th. we
we're
go
back,
Saturday to
baby.
Wednesday or Thursday. or
Eagle,
whatever.
I've asked this a couple times this week, and I just want to be sure. The amount of games to qualify for the postseason in fall is 4, correct?
Quattro.
And then for winter will be 5, correct?
It's 4.
All right. Fair enough.
Combined
Let's-
across both rounds.
Yeah.
All right, so some games that really caught my attention from the Fall Cup
Gimme.
this week. Team Ethnik are really starting to raise some eyebrows here, Peezler, and what they're doing in this Fall Cup version. And they got themselves a pretty dandy win as I try to buy myself time as my thing is slow.
I wrote about this game in my article. I don't find surprising because I know that the Bruins had Zach Swern this game, but he hasn't been with them all season long.
Right.
The defensive Bruins is sort of we've talked about on this show how it's a little predictable, and Benoit Lawler is not a quarterback of great repute in FPF, but he's probably one of the best natural throwers of the football in this division. So if a receiver's open, he'll hit the receiver every single time. He's just one of the most accurate passers we have. I'd say up to and including Division 3.
Yeah, it's it's a good win for Team Ethnik, a team that's been there for a while. I know with COVID they weren't back last spring season Fall Cup of 2020, but they had that report. And look, when you look at the Bruins and their offense, it could be deadly when they're on, but when there's days where you look at Gab Wiseman as a quarterback, he does have his off moments, and this was an off moment yesterday on Sunday or Wednesday that it was, where he had 3 INTs against them, and this really caught my attention because I thought the Bruins would have won this game against Team Ethnik and control that division overall. Any games that caught your attention from this past week, Peezler?
I'd say I got a text from I want to make sure I get the first name right, from Dylan Daou, because there's 4 of them.
Yeah,
they all start with a D.
Yes.
Dylan texted me. Of course, we know Dylan a long time in FPF. But they beat the Ravens. Grim Reapers beat the Ravens. He said that I've picked against them 4 weeks in a row, and they keep winning. So I got to give them credit. The defense is actually quite good.
Yeah.
On Grim Reapers, they are aggressive and they adapt well to what you're doing on offense. And they and the way their offense works, they kind of slow the pace down. And there were some weird things in this game, like Dylan Daou sacked himself twice. So like there's issues definitely. But it kind of works to their favor because they kind of want these sort of slower pace, drag it out sort of games, and especially the second half of this game, Joel Hull kind of wasn't really able to catch his receivers in stride. I think this is sort of Joel Hull is still a relatively low division quarterback in FPF. And this is a lesson that everyone learns at some point, is you need to have like a change of pace for the second half, because the defense finally has a chance at halftime to meet up like, hey, he's doing this, he's doing this, he's doing this. So he has all the skill set in the world, like the natural talent to play the position. Joel Ho has it in spades. But I think if he can reserve part of his playbook, especially the first possession of the second half or second possession where he sees that, hey, they're catching on to what I'm doing, what can I turn to? What's a spin off of the play that I'm calling here?
Yeah, I think, when we look at the Ravens, and now he's been at the position for a couple of years with the Ravens going back to the spring season and fall couple last year. It's a good group of guys, right? And you go up against a buzzsaw like they did, in the fact that they lost to Green Reapers by 7. It's not a blowout loss for the Reapers. But I just think that Ravens now, I think they're 2-1 at this point of the overall record with what they've accumulated so far. A little bit off the target rate that we thought maybe they would be in the top 4 of their tier, but not right now. I think they could have that runway to get back into the picture if they can pull off the next 3 games in a row. And by the way, the Green Reapers play Chocolate Thunder the last game of the year in this next round of games. Chocolate Thunder, who I watched on Monday in St. Laurent, they are definitely head and shoulders above the competition. That defense is nasty good, Peeze. They took care of Usus Diablos.
Hey, I played against them.
Yeah.
We were shocked. There's not a lot. Like, we're a highly volatile team. We turn the ball over. We get turnovers.
Yeah.
It's our kind of in our DNA. And they limited us to 2 scores on offense. I don't remember like with this current version of Hot Sauce Sports, we couldn't remember a time previously where we only scored the ball twice. Scored twice. I mean, it's like, that's a good defense.
It's a good defense.
That's a good defense.
And Nicky Pappage is like the human eraser.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were still on Grim Reapers. I misunderstood.
Oh yeah,
you're talking about Chocolate Thunder.
Yeah.
Well, Chocolate Thunder's a better defense even than that. So
exactly.
Definitely yes, they're the best defense in the division.
And Nicky Pappage is definitely a human eraser. Like, he's the last line of defense when it comes to certain things. And he made some big stops on touchdown saving plays for the Thunder. And if they continue to grow, and again, that day, the last game, the 4th game for Reapers and Thunder,
that'll be fun.
And that could determine who will finish where and when they get to the.
It's about how Joe Cano will deal with that Reapers defense.
Oh man, that trash talk is gonna be epic, man.
Yeah. Although the Dubois are not what they once were in trash talk.
No, but you never know. Joe can get under people's skins if he desire. Tier 3.
I will say one quick thing on for Chocolate Thunder: be wary of the dirty rusher for Grim Reapers.
Right.
Because that's dirty, dude. You know what you're doing.
Right. Tier 3. Look, Penetrators continue to roll. They handle Lionhearts rather easily, and I score capped that game. Wasn't even close. I'm starting to buy into the Penetrators because they just have that combination of wealth of their defense playing really well, but also their quarterback play, getting timely plays, and they have the rotation to change their pass rusher at times, which has been a big benefactor for them. And, as we move along here, Peeze, I think they will get tougher competition, which we'll see for sure. But this was a statement win over the Lionhearts because the Lionhearts did not play well. And I thought this would have been much closer, and I thought the Lionhearts had the edge given their experience in FPF.
The thing is that's kind of what the Lionhearts have been, is if they face a team that just got better athletes, it just has a bit more cohesion than they do, they can't keep up at all. And that's what we saw here with the Penetrators. The game that caught my eye, Mo, is, first of all, the first thing that caught my eye is the home team in Tier 3 in the first 5 games that happened this week in Tier 3 all scored 6 points. The first 5 home teams all scored 6 points.
Holy cow, yeah, right, eh?
Yeah. Combined 30 points for 5 teams.
Talk about the evolution of scoring. Eagle, hey, you knocked down my safety rule. This is what happens, huh? Go bleep yourself, Eagle.
However, the one 6-point team that surprised me was Save a Horse only scoring 6 in their 30-6 loss against Free Agent Squad. We praised Kyle Daniel. He went 5 for 14. It didn't look good from the start. He threw 2 interceptions. Emil Scaff got 1. He ended up getting a sack as well. Robert DLC, who we know from his time on replacements, really smart defender. He got an interception as well. So it's kind of like I was saying, Eags, that with Save a Horse, is my feeling is that if they don't have all the athletes, they're going to stall on offense because their playbook is not
Oh,
sustainable.
hold on here. Let's get the defender of the Steve of the Horse crusade over your Eagle, who was like, "Oh, hey,
Come on,
the
Eagle.
Division 3 team.
Right, a
They're
Cowboy.
going
Eagle.
Division 2. They're going to win Division 1 in the next 4 years." And look at him now, completely ignoring us right now as he's on some.
I'm trying to figure out why it's cutting off the text, and I'm trying to size it. Hold on.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Okay.
He's trying to use that as a saving grace from getting missile launches from
I'm a
us,
saving horse.
from the warships out here in the ocean, about to launch to his country over there.
You know what doesn't do well in the ocean? Horses.
Yeah.
True story.
But look, we said, Peeze, we spoke about it last week about this team here, that they're going to now have stiffer tests to go up against. And free agent squad is a team that has definitely caught, it's been easy in the eye, but has caught our attention for what they've done so far in this season.
But that's why it's, and the fact that they were undone by not a team, but literally a squad of free agents that were put together, is pretty impressive to me.
Yeah. Tier 1 status quo, and we'll get more into it right now with Tier 1. So
I do have a result I want to share with you.
Yeah,
though,
go
from
for it.
co-ed.
yeah, go for it. Yeah, we're in co-ed right now, yes.
Yin and Yang beat EZFun, and Gino DeFazio seems to have taken over the reins. There was some question as to whether or not he would be quarterback, because if he throws, then someone on the team can't play, and it's what you're used to hearing from Gino DeFazio teams, like, bro, stop trying to skirt the rules. This is obviously the best version of your team. Just be quarterback with a slightly worse roster, and you'll be fine.
So if I'm convinced if Gino had his own league, the Gino Football League, Flag Football League, he still would win a championship. Like, if the rules were all, predicate to his strengths.
Well, he'll say that the reason why he hasn't won as many is because of the rules, but he has won a co-ed championship, by the way, right? Like with Yin and Yang.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. We called
ago.
the game, or one of us called. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you called.
We were there.
Yeah.
But Jeremy White was fairly efficient despite 2 interceptions, but Gino DeFazio did his thing. And what's funny is on a team with Theo Lavigne, I can just imagine all hooks that were run against EZFun, because that's Gino DeFazio's calling card, right? Is he runs all hooks, all slants, and it's going to be underneath stuff with his athletes making plays for him. And when you have Ryan Dobbs Garnett going up for 113 yards on 12 catches, and the speed of Kwesi Gordon-Mall and Lauriane Potvin, Marie-Lou Côté-Noël. Marie-Lou only caught one pass, was for 19 yards. Her speed is absolutely impressive. I wrote about her this week, Mo.
Right.
I call Marie-Lou Côté, by the way, the best rusher in FPF, not co-ed, in FPF currently. An FPF that still includes Ryan Aridi.
Yeah, no. I mean, and Ryan hasn't played. He's been on and off. Right?
Yeah.
But if you were to,
She's the best.
You think of the rusher greats, right? We have Matt Kerouac, we have Julien Payman, we have Ryan Aridi. Would you put
She's-
Carl Denis in that category?
She's about
Chris Meard. He had a
Meard.
run.
in style.
Isaiah,
Allard, yeah, he's had a run. Small sample of runs, yeah.
In style, she reminds me of Julien Payman in terms of speed, the ability to change direction, and never misses a flag.
Yeah.
And she's not, obviously Julien is not one of the taller rushers. Like,
No.
obviously, you talked about Allard. Allard obviously has that big wingspan that makes it difficult to pass against. With her, it's just that angle is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, look at the defense stats. Very deep since they're not displayed.
classic. Sad.
Oh, wow. Look at that, eh? Those defense stats displayed in full force.
So
The
she's
green
got-
accentuates
She's got
the look.
21 career stats. It's not a ton, but in co-ed there aren't a lot of sacks to begin with.
Yeah, but you
So-
got to do the ratio of the total number of sacks and plays that she's rushed. And that gives you a better idea.
And she doesn't rush every play either.
No, of course.
They use her only in key moments. She's like a pass rush, like a TJ Watt, like a pass rush specialist.
Third down specialist
you know?
coming out.
Or guys old like you and I remember Trace Armstrong.
Of course, yeah. Former Raider, former Dolphin.
Also, I want to do a quick shout out for co-ed as well. The Rock got their first win,
Yeah.
34-22 versus La
awesome.
Secte.
La Secte's getting close, guys. I think they're going to get that W this year at some point. I really believe they will. So.
Yeah, they're solid. I talked about Lauriane on their team. Underused. She's open a lot. She catches the ball every time it's thrown to her. She's got, I think, 15 catches on the season, and it's still not enough. Get her the ball. She's awesome.
Right. All right, let's dive into the topics here. We have Alexi Dubois coming up in a few minutes on Calling the Audible. Tier 1. Right now, if you look at the dotted line of the cutoff point right now, ECW and Mangoose are on the outside looking in. Bless is more or less clinching a spot in the money round because they're at a mathematical advantage of 9 points, I believe, right now. Is that correct, Eagle? 9 points.
Yes.
So
They are 9,
EZW and Mangoose cannot catch up to them, so they have clinched at least the 4th spot going into the money round. So right now, Peeze, more confidence in EZW or Mangoose to jump KGP, which is probably the closest target right now for the 4th spot with UM and Apocalypse in the comfortable position of 2 and 3.
I'm going to go EZW just because of the offense. They're scoring more points. They struggled this past week, only putting up 14, but they put up 14 against a legitimate Division 1 team in Urgence Medic. But they play this week. They play the next 2 games against Mangoose before finishing off against Blessed.
Yeah.
So I think they actually win both games against Mangoose.
I want to say they will. Could we get the schedule up just so we show everyone out there just to be exact for
You want to get the whole schedule or just their schedule?
EZW and Mangoose's schedule, right?
All right, so let's get EZW first.
First.
here.
I can put my computer to the screen.
Yeah, it might be a little bit pixelated.
So
though.
they have Mangoose back to back
Yeah.
on 2 separate weeks, and then they wrap up with Blessed.
So
Literally the thing I said.
yeah, I know. I'm just trying. I just want everyone to see it so they
Yeah,
see
get
clearly.
some visuals. That's all
Exactly.
And
Visuals
then
always
Mangoose
help.
for their last game, they're going to have KGP.
Right. So if there is going to be a situation where I think 2 wins won't be enough. I think one of these teams has to win the final 3 to get in.
I
as a
disagree. If one of those teams wins both games, it's enough. It's clearly enough.
But 4 get through and
Oh, you mean to jump?
to jump?
Ah,
KGP,
okay.
yeah. That's why.
Well, to jump, yeah, they likely. Well, they won't beat Blessed, so no, it's over.
okay, that defeats the topic of.
It's over because EZW beats Mangoose. It's like rock paper scissors, right?
Yeah.
EZW beats Mangoose, and Blessed beats EZW.
But Mangoose might have that seam where if they can take the next 2 against EZW and then beat KGP, they're in.
They've scored less than 100 points through 5 games.
That's true. That's true.
Although there is other options here, right? Like it's possible, and I'm saying possible, KGP tied a game. So even if KGP wins their game versus, was it Mangoose that I said? If Mangoose wins both their games, they end up at 6 points. If KGP loses their next 3 games, or even if they beat Mangoose, they up to 5 points. If they lose their next 2 games, which are versus Urgence Medic back-to-back. So KGP loses to Urgence Medic twice. And then if Mangoose beats EZW twice, they leapfrog KGP, and KGP can't catch up. Right?
Yeah, no, you're
So
right.
there's still possibilities here of KGP losing out if they lose both their games to Urgence Medic, and one of those 2 teams wins both their games.
Right. Looking at tier 2, Eags,
Just one second before we
Yes.
get to that.
yes.
Just want to
I
point
thought
out.
you doing like a calculation of
Yeah.
like percentage of points.
Mangoose has scored 87 points for, right?
Right.
They scored 33 points the first week, which means they scored 38% of their season total so far in week 1.
Well, they're like a lockdown.
They're not getting better. They're getting worse.
Lockdown's
Lockdown's not getting better or worse. Lockdown is just lockdown.
Yeah, they just locked themselves
We've
out.
locked ourselves out.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, let's get to the tier 2 standings here, and to get the combination of what we have. I'm still confused about this whole process of what we have. What's relevant?
That's the goal. The goal is confuse more.
Confuse everyone out there. Okay, so if you look at the dotted line right now, Eagle, if you scroll down a little bit south of where we are, just a little bit more. There you go. There you go. Perfect. Right, the dotted line right there. Right. So you do.
So, Eagle, can you give us a breakdown of how the postseason will work
Yeah,
for
exactly.
those who don't know?
So great
on.
question. So first off, you are all probably aware we have the preliminary round, we have the qualification round, and then we have the knockout round, which are the playoffs essentially. So it's actually described here on this last tab of the playoff breakdown, but essentially the top 12 teams off of the combined records make the knockout round. Everyone else, thank
how
you,
many, sorry?
bye-bye. 12, top 12. So the bottom 3 teams are going to get cut. The top 4 teams will play for a cash bracket. So that's 1 to 4. 5 to 8 seeds will play on the constellation bracket 1, and then 9 to 12 will play in constellation bracket 2. So there's technically, I mean, you can call it 3 tier 2 champions, but only one of them is the ultimate champion and actually wins the cash at the end of it.
like
So
with
The
this
ultimate champion.
Yeah, like with this DOS 2.0 display of how to show. Should we not put like dollar signs with the top 4 C's so people know how that's played out? Or
Mo, listen, I can barely get these stats to
Nothing-
compile, yet alone put fancy symbols on
Nothing
it. Okay?
says 2021 graphics like dollar signs.
like exactly. So
We'll
anyway,
be doing it eventually once we start updating them, but yes.
perfect. We'll get our IT team on that. Okay, so right now, Peeze, we look at those 2. Like there's a boatload of 2-win teams from the Ravens going right down to KGP Raw. Is there a team that's vulnerable in those green spots? If you can see, I don't know if the colorblind is affecting this position. Right
No,
now.
I could see delineation. I
Oh,
didn't know it was
perfect.
green, to be fair.
Okay, just
But-
want to make sure. Anyway, the point is, Ravens, Lungs, LSA, Useless Diablos, and KGP Raw. Is there a team that's vulnerable that might be on the outside by the time we get to the knockout stages?
Unexpected Diablos had sort of an unexpected start. They they hung tough with Mean Machine. They beat Centaurs. They beat Arush, and they haven't
That's a
won.
big win over Arush, though.
Yeah,
That rocked a little bit of the
but
top.
what happened there is it put them in a higher bracket,
Yeah.
and so now facing Chocolate Thunder, they face Grim Reapers, who again are better than you would think. Because it's inartistic somewhat, but it's effective,
Right.
and that defense is going to give François Martin a tough time.
Right. Right.
Then they face Tough Lungs, who are one of these teams in contention with them, and then one of the top seeds, Bruins. I think by virtue of the fact that they put them, they earned a spot in the higher tier, it kind of is going to have a negative impact because I think they were somewhat inflated by that unexpected win against Arush, for example, right?
Yeah.
So I think they are also the same team who lost to Mean Machine, right? I know it was week 1, but that handed Mean Machine their only win of the season so far.
Yeah, I think, watching Tough Lungs yesterday, there was one-dimensional Justin Lerner against Arush. And you can tell, right, that this Tough Lung team doesn't have the horsepower to keep up with the upper elite of this division or this tier of teams here. But with Useless Diablos, it's sort of like they caught fire at the right time against Arush. And if François Martin doesn't get going, and he had a pretty tough day, just trying to move the ball down the field here, and he got picked off a couple times and stuff, and this doesn't move the ball as well as he desire. If he doesn't get in rhythm, it really stunts Useless Diablo's ability to win football games because they can't say, all right, defense, make a play, get us the points, let's roll from there. When they're playing better teams, you can just see that there's a mismatch from a skill perspective, what they have compared to what, say, Chocolate Thunder has on their arsenal.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get any easier for them. They have Grim Reapers, Tough Lungs, and
We
Bruins
already
as their
did
next
that.
3.
You need to listen to your own show.
He's talking about it, though. Like, are those defenses equal or as good as Chocolate Thunder? So Grim Reapers we talked about before.
They're about. I'm not
Yeah.
not quite as good, but they have a competent defense.
Yeah.
But on the other end, like one of the teams, I was like, well, maybe KGP Raw, because KGP Raw, by the way, the way they lost the game to Hot Sauce Sports, I wasn't there. I was injured this week.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So the way they lost the game, from the report that I got from the boys, was that they and Justin Blanchard said kudos to them because they scored to make it 33-32, and they went for 2 for the win. And then Justin Blanchard picked off the pass to end the game. So really, Justin said this to pump himself up, of course.
Gets married
I know, right?
and picks off.
Gets a gift from Ryan Garber.
Ryan
But no, the thing is, the remaining schedule, though, is Mean Machine, Glow Gang, Pinchellos. Was that a combined, 4 wins?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so it's
two
so
wins.
they have a bit of an easier path than unexpected or useless Diablos, as you like to call it.
Right. And by the way, Hot Sauce Sports, don't look now, Eagle. If you just scroll up a little bit more for our viewers, they are within target range. If Eagle moves it up, there you go. They're within target range of maybe getting into the money bracket over here. You're a point off, and then Peeze, you might get some beer money for the FPF Christmas
That's
dinner.
really
All that to say, wait, there is a little misleading thing here. They have 6 games played. All
Yeah.
the other teams have 5.
That's okay,
so,
though. That's okay. That's okay. You still
So
have
the
some runway to
ceiling for Hot Sauce Sports is 10 points versus all the other teams. They can go up to 12.
lose. Well, someone's going to have to lose.
So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Will Power filled in at quarterback. Was great.
Powerful.
He knows he's done it before because I get hurt a lot.
surge
So
of energy that he has, you know.
oh, he's the best. He's the
Yeah.
best dude.
The hydro in him
there
is really fantastic.
Sorry.
The hydro in him is really fantastic.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
And all that to say, Hot Sauce Sports, their last 2 games on the schedule are Los Siete Amigos and Centaur. Siete Amigos are having an
These are
okay
easy games, by
season.
the way.
Centaur is also having an okay season.
Yeah,
So
he
those are
brings
very
a lot-
comparable teams.
Will brings a lot of energy, with the power that he has himself, right?
I think the last game, Centaurs against Hot Sauce Sports. If that game goes the way those games usually go, bet the over.
Right.
Bet the over because they're 2 teams in us and them who
And Hot
run a
Sauce
fast
Sports
offense.
will score 6 points only.
Defense is stupid.
That could happen.
It could happen, exactly.
But it's
Uh,
unlikely.
Quick word of advice for Pincellos. Guys, ease up on the verbiage towards referees. Just ease up on that. You guys trying to develop a reputation.
Yeah, so
Trying
the
to
thing
develop
is,
a reputation.
like, even the game that we played against them, there was like a dude making a diving tackle and then standing up 3 yards behind where the guy was deflagged and be like, look, I didn't move. Yeah, but you dove to make the tackle.
No.
Or you're running full speed. The ref's got a good angle. Trust the process. They get some stuff wrong. Don't worry, but
I
they're gonna
know.
get most of it right.
I know. Just ease up on the verbiage.
Yeah. The thing is, and I've been kind of in. This is gonna destroy the theater of the mind a little bit, but I've been in conversation with Vince Romano a lot this season. I actually like his playbook a lot, and I'm really impressed by how well he's put it together in a short period of time,
right.
and his ability to throw the ball and all that. But because he's not a guy like Kevin Wyeth who's just blessed with a ridiculous arm, what he does that I said like that the next step for him is he tends to stare down the first read and then panic if it doesn't come open and throw off his back foot.
Right.
So he needs to process those reads quicker, and what that means is don't look at the receiver running the route. Look at the defender and throw to the spot of where the route's going to be, and that's going to happen. The other thing the receivers do that doesn't help him out
Right.
is they make a lot of unnecessary cuts.
Yeah.
You see a guy running a slant and he's going up, in, out, in. It's a small field. If you win one step, you won the route.
Of course.
So I hate to say it because there's some great tacticians in FPF, but under Division 3, route running doesn't matter that much, especially against zone. Like, Mo, imagine making all those moves, but you're running
Yeah.
against zone. So what's
you
the point?
wasted all the energy. By the way, we have an update from the, I don't know if this is Eagle that posted up as an FPF admin on the Facebook group.
No, that is not me. This is El
So-
Presidente.
So for those who may not see it, who do see it before Wednesday.
Breaking news on a show
breaking
you're not
news.
watching live.
So
Oh, by the way, if you don't know, we have a Facebook group for our player community, so feel free to join that. Search for
Exactly.
Fact Plus Football on
Group
Facebook and join it.
page.
it's a public group. All right, so
But the group is the one everyone can post
Yeah.
in.
updates from the Flag Plus Football Administration, which I believe is Rob Campana. We'll have an update about the maximum participants in the Laval Dome tomorrow. This should no longer be a place in place as per public health rules, meaning we don't have to stagger entrance into the dome as we had the last couple weeks.
Awesome.
We know this was a major inconvenience, and hopefully it is no longer an issue for us. So stay tuned through email. People, we do send emails out, and through the Flag Plus group on the Facebook, even the IG, that we could see a change of, I guess, COVID-19 rules at Laval.
Especially as it's getting cold. That's appreciated.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
appreciated that we can enter the field right away. Like when it's warm, guys are outside talking to teammates, maybe hitting some trees,
Of course.
grabbing a drink, whatever you do to get yourself ready for a game. But as it gets colder, it's nicer to just get inside and start warming up.
So tier 3, FSU. I saw them yesterday. I saw a bit of their game against in Saint Laurent. They played the Warriors, and they won that game by possession. So they said to me as I was leaving, I had no idea they recognized who I was with my mask on. I guess there's not many 6'4" South Asians roaming and controlling and patrolling that sideline. Hey, give some love for FSU. I said, all right, cool. Are they frauds? Are they frauds? Because
Wow.
I think they are frauds.
I mean, or are they the most dreaded title we hand out on this show, False Kings?
Well, this replaced the S in their acronym with the K, False Kings.
False King
University.
Some teams got to do that, right?
Yeah.
Some teams got to
False
call their
Kings.
team False King
I
University.
have your name if you go off the HSS name. False Kings.
False Kings University. Well, and a lot of what HSS does, especially a quarterback, False Kings.
False Kings. So FSU, if we look at their wins so far this year, I think they only have had one game that they've won by, I think, by 50.
So they beat
points.
Secte Turf Drills. They lost to Lionhearts. They beat Penetrators.
That's a good win.
They beat Fighting Canes. They
Cones.
beat Cones. Sorry. They beat Warriors, and then they have free agent squad, 7th rounders, and pardon my swag.
Not convincing wins.
I can see them going winless the next 3 games.
So
Not convincing, these wins.
win two-
Penetrators,
Win 2 of the next 3, or else you're False Kings. We're going to proclaim it
They're
here.
going to get wrecked by a free agent squad.
Eagle set an alarm for next week. Set an actual alarm. We're going to talk about them at 9 o'clock next week.
If we are on at 9 o'clock next week. You never know.
Set one for 8:50 next week.
Or 8:30. How about that?
8:30. We're gonna. Okay.
They'll get wrecked.
Wait. 8:30. Set an alarm. I want to hear it ring on the show.
Okay.
That we have to check in on FSU's False Kingdomhood.
Yeah, they're not going to win the next 3 games.
Because Mo and I are going to forget what the alarm is, by the way. So you have to remember what the alarm
exactly.
Oh, it's gonna sound like this.
is. Great. But just you have to remember why it's ringing.
Yeah. They're not going to win these next 3 games.
All right, we'll see.
Free squad's going to wreck them. 7th rounders have improved week by week from what I've seen from them. And PMS will just literally change their name to False Kings for them.
A couple of guys I covered before in last season that play on this team. Leo Diakumakos
False King.
and Manny Bizogias.
Another False King.
Both of those dudes are very, very good. I find Leo Diakumakos looks like another FPF player. He looks like a Kevin Bustani knockoff.
True. By the way, FSU,
Also, I like the shoe game here. Look at that.
Street game's pretty nice.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
riveting because they've only scored 106 points. With those in the green, because I don't know if you can see the green part of the screen or
correct.
not. They're the 2nd lowest scoring team right now, or 3rd lowest
And
scoring
you
team.
need, especially come playoff time. I don't. And dude, the amount of times guys come up to me, at the start of playoffs, they'll win a playoff game. Like, see, our defense can carry us, and then in the end, they lose a game where they get outscored. You need to score 5 scores a game to guarantee yourself a chance to win.
They are
the
one
championship.
right now. They're holding on to the 4th spot. What's the qualification round for Tier 3 Eagles for the Money Bowl for this?
Same thing. 1 to 4, 5 to 8,
so
and then 9 to 12.
right now FSU's hanging on by thread because there is a plethora of teams at 4 wins, going from FSU or from Penetrators right down to the Warriors. But right now they're in the 4th spot, and if they were to lose, which they will, to Free Agent Squad on the weekend, they could definitely fall all the way out to 8th. And who knows, even lower with Lionhearts and Save the Turf Tolls not too far away.
There's definitely a line of delineation in Tier 3 where you see the more athletic teams, when they get a matchup where they win across the board, they look impressive. And teams like Save a Horse, FSU, Penetrators, the West Yard, that's where I think a team like Part of My Swag, if Frankie Scalzo can just control the game, that team is good enough with him just not making mistakes. But Free Agent Squad to me is the one where it's really impressive what they've done in a short period of time together.
Maybe Penetrators can give the squad a run for their money. I'm not sure. We'll see about that.
We'll see. Don't forget, Penetrators are a team that lost to FSU. So
yeah, by
so
6.
if they're False Kings, transitive property suggests falser Kings.
Penetrators would wreck these guys. If what's the schedule for Penetrators? I know they don't play
Penetrators
FSU.
lost to FSU though.
I know, but I'm saying if they had a rematch, they'd wreck them part 2. And Penetrators,
I don't think there's any rematches. We
No.
specifically designed it to not
right,
have that
they
happen.
won't play FSU. That's all I know. But who their final 3
They
games
have
are.
the West Yard, Killer Rays, and Warriors.
Okay, they're gonna beat West Yard. They're gonna beat Killer Rays.
I don't know
Warriors.
about West Yard. West Yard's pretty good, and actually Killer Rays are pretty good too, Mo. They're not guaranteed wins. That's a tough schedule.
Give me the Penetrators, boys. They're gonna definitely do it. They're going. That's my team right
We'll
now.
see when we get to games of the week.
I hope they get FSU because they're gonna wreck these guys. You know, FSU's gonna be angry at me now. Hey, remember when you talk trash about us? I'm like, when?
Every
On the
week.
show, dude.
Hey, look, it's up to you. Make it trash talk by winning games and showing us we're wrong.
Alexi Dubois would be joining us now in the next few minutes here, as we'll get Alexi on right now.
You want to do co-ed quickly?
Yeah, as you get Alexi lined up, we'll get co-ed lined up. So
Yeah,
kind
he's
of
ready to go whenever. So
All right,
can
we'll
finish
start the
co-ed.
conversation on co-ed,
Yeah,
and we'll
exactly.
turn to him. Now, the annoying thing about co-ed on our website is the combined tab doesn't work, Mo, but I can quickly provide the update because I know what happened in the division.
Mm-hmm.
So as we discussed, Yin and Yang got a win, and The Rock got a win.
Mm-hmm.
Lasek got a loss. EZFun got a loss. So EZFun no longer undefeated.
Right.
They are 4-1. Yin and Yang are now 3-2, and The Rock are they've actually won 2 games, Mo.
Right.
So you said they got their first win, but they won a game in the preliminary round.
Oh, it's true. I beg your pardon. I meant to
Yeah.
say La Secte is going to be getting their first win soon.
We'll see.
I think they will. As Alexi Dubois will be joining us, as Eagle is lining that up right now. And are we seeing a separation now, Peeze, with co-ed?
I think there's a top 3 teams.
And you know who's the top 3 guy?
Alexi
Dubois.
the
Prime Minister
Minister.
Dubois, how you been, sir?
Not bad. How are you guys doing?
Oh, he's a top 3 guy. He's asked us how we're doing, man.
I'm recovering from my injury in time for Sunday. Is how I'm doing, Alexi.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, right.
So, Prime Minister,
Well, back to full mobility?
Sorry.
Back to full mobility, so we can expect as many rushing yards as Jeremy White?
Yeah. I'm known for all the rushing yards I get. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Prime Minister, your thoughts? So we're going to surf around the fall cup seasons here for the tiers. Your thoughts on Coad quickly from what has unfolded through a month's worth of games?
Confusion. So if you look at it, there's this weird 3-way thing going on where EZFun beats Kiss My End Zone, Kiss My End Zone beats Yin and Yang, and Yin and Yang beats EZFun, and I really don't know what to make of it at this point.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, because Mo asked before you got on the air, I don't know if you heard the question on sort of standby. Mo asked if we're starting to see a line of delineation. And to me, there's sort of like a top 3. I'm not as familiar with the division as you are to know sort of who really is sort of like the top team. I would assume it's EZFun. But EZFun, Kiss My End Zone, and Yin and Yang, they're the ones we expect to be duking it out, right? If The Rock or La Secte would be holding a trophy at the end, we'd be surprised by that.
Yes, 100%. We've seen this happen quite a few times in most play seasons. There's always a cream of the crop that sort of filters to the top, and then some bottom teams, who duke it out for that last playoff spot. This year is definitely EZFun, Kiss My Hands, so Y&Y. We're in the top 3 positions.
Looking at Tier 1, Alexi, are you taking Blessed or the Field to win the Ultimate Bowl game?
That's a good one. I'm taking Blessed.
So it sounds like
the next
another
question
person is doubting KGP and Phil Cutler.
Yeah,
Again,
exactly.
we haven't learned. They're back-to-back champions.
Yeah, and somehow that was one of the closest games Blessed had. I think that's the only game they didn't win, right? The 28-28 tie
Yeah,
in
tie
week
game.
3.
Right.
Yeah, I have a hard time making a lot out of KGP because I don't think this is a team I've seen play more than once or twice as a lower tier guy myself. And when you just look at this, pardon?
Sorry, I was going to say, Alexi, if you see them play, it doesn't entirely help because there's nothing they do spectacularly except that they don't suck anywhere. They're just good across the board. And it's sort of like they have depth where some teams have just sort of elite talent. They have good talent, but just they have it across the board.
But what you're describing is something very similar to Blessed in the same sense. There's no
Bless
real
also has
weak-
elite talent, though. Like they have elite
They have
athleticism
elite
in
talent.
Steinberg and Justin Lerner and Kevin Smuda. Willpower and James Langshaw they play above their ranking. And we now know Stephen Harpersod is one of the best quarterbacks in FPF.
Yes, but like in the same sense that neither one of these teams has a real weak point. I think the only thing you can exploit on Blessed is willpower on defense.
He's very powerful. A lot of energy.
Unless it's a jump ball, though. Like if it's a jump ball,
He's lights out.
Will come down with that. Yeah.
He brings a lot of hydro.
Yeah. Correct.
He's like a dam with a lot of hydro. Isn't that right, Prime Minister?
Yeah. Yes, but if you look at the finals from last season, the only thing where the infantry was able to move the ball was consistently going after Will.
Yeah, but he's like a light switch, though. Once he's off and he's on, he's on.
Because of the power?
Yep,
Exactly.
there.
Yeah.
But
Mo's
if you
just
have a
making
game
dad
off-
jokes. It's hard for you to tell because you can't see his face. But he's just making nonstop power jokes.
There we go.
Looking at Tier 2 right now, it's relatively, I guess to use the term parity in terms of the top 7, top 8 of Tier 2. But right now, from your viewpoint of Tier 2, how's this played out in your eyes?
Yeah, if I look back at my article last week, I was trying to figure out Tier 2. And I was trying to figure out who is kind of real and pretenders. I think we've got some teams in here which are very much in the pretender category.
Listen, let's go.
Team
Take
Ethnik,
names.
number 1 pretender. Team Ethnik, number 1 pretender.
I disagree.
I
But
knew
go ahead.
it. See, I told you.
I disagree. I think they're quite good.
I think Benoit Lawler is quite exceptional.
Yeah.
I think David Andrade is producing interceptions at a.
That's fair. But
He's a
like,
Tron Diggs.
but the thing is, Benoit Lawler might be the best passer in Tier 2. The best pure passer in Tier 2.
really, I would not take Lotto over Cano. I think they're a very
Okay.
similar style quarterback,
It's different.
and
though.
Cano has a bit more je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, but Prime Minister Joe Cano is a guy that loves the long ball, and if it's not going in his favor, he becomes a one-way street of options, which is not many options for him to look at when it comes to his passing repertoire that he has.
Fair, but Benoit Lotto loves the deep ball just as
Yeah.
much as Joe Cano.
I just from
Like
like
if you put,
a ball placement perspective, I just really like what Benoit Lawler does. I've seen him infuriate defenses. For some reason, he hasn't been able to put it together in the playoffs, and maybe that's sort of what's leading to your analysis. But who else do you see as pretenders?
I'm not convinced about Arush yet.
Okay.
I don't like new teams in FPF.
So you
They
like
put
Arush
on
then.
some good. Pardon?
You don't like Arush then?
Not more than I do. You know, if they beat Chocolate Thunder by 1 point, which is impressive, but 1 point. Tough Lungs aren't an exceptional team, and only hung 25 on them, 26 with Mean Machine. They're good. I'm not saying they aren't great. I just don't think they're as good as their record indicates.
All right. When you look at Tier 3, we just had a conversation, a highly heated conversation on FSU in Tier 3. I noted them as my false kings for the FPF Cup. I might have done that for another team in the spring season, I think.
We do that a lot.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we forget. All right, so
if we go behind the curtain, it's a mechanic we use all the time.
yeah, exactly. It's like a crutch for us. All right, so Prime Minister 3, are there any false kings in your mind in this division that we have for Tier 3?
Tier 3 is tough because
good one.
there's not a lot of familiarity, right?
No, there isn't.
There's a lot of new teams.
Yeah, so free agent squad 4-1, 5-0. I have no clue. I saw that. I came back from Philadelphia. I saw that they beat Save a Horse. I nearly fell off my chair. They held them to like 6 points, which I would have said free agent squad would have been pretenders until I saw that game. Now can't take that back. I still would love to see that matchup again. I think Save a Horse can do something. I think the West Yard. I think we definitely will. I think West Yard are pretenders. Having played this team, they're beatable when we played. They're fast, and that's pretty much it. They have average to bad quarterback play at best. They rely on running yards. They have 187 rushing yards. If you get a decent rusher against this team who just can take good angles and beat them to the edge and force them to throw the ball, every time they chuck up the ball, it's an interception waiting to happen. They only have 5 on the season. There could be a lot more. I think this team, if you...
Sorry, go ahead. You sorry, I can't see you, so I don't always know when you're pausing or stopping. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you have a good rusher and a decent ball hawk going off against this team, I think it's an absolute disaster for the West Yard.
Warriors are interesting. Benji Ziegler is one of the faster, shiftier dudes in the lower divisions. He's got 9 touchdowns already. Should they face a team that can shut him down, do you think Fergenbaum will be patient enough to take what the defense has given him?
Really stumped out.
So this team's been
That's a good question.
Yeah, really have.
This is a team that's been around FPF for a while. Always the names, right? I recognize a lot of these. Like David Nahan's been around, Benji, of course, Benovich.
Yeah.
But they've always been that deep threat team. And if you take away Ziegler, I don't think there's someone else who stretches the field for pace.
Last
So I
question.
think at a certain point they just start chucking it up and the picks come. This is the kind of team where if I were playing, I'd play a 3 deep shell and let them complete the ball underneath, and then get super aggressive in the red zone. And if you replicate that enough times and just start jumping stuff in the red zone when those windows are so small, I think you'll produce more picks than you'll get turnovers in the red zone.
Our last question.
And as long as they face...
Sorry, go ahead.
It's so hard that we can't see the dude.
I know. Sorry about that, Prime Minister. Carry on here. Finish off your point, please.
No, I'm saying as long as they face a team that's smart enough to do that, which I think is a minority of teams in Tier 3, they'll have a very difficult time. And as long as they keep on facing teams that they have more experience than and they can out game plan, they'll win. But once they face some of these, recurring teams, not gonna be pretty.
All right, last question for you.
Let's go. Let's do it, Mo. Last question.
Last question.
Hugging the mic.
One word. Are you taking? Well, they have 3 words in the name. Are you taking free agent squad or the field to win this tier?
The field.
So to be clear, the field doesn't mean the terrain they're physically playing on.
No.
It's the other teams.
No.
So it's not that they'll be eaten up by like
Grass.
Turf monster?
sorry,
A giant turf monster?
yeah,
Or-
like in what's that movie where they're coming underground?
Teeth.
Tremors.
Sure, Tremors is what I was thinking.
Tremors.
It's not teeth.
With
Is
Kurt
what
Bacon.
Eagle said. I was just
Kurt
gonna agree
Bacon.
with the first.
That's
movie.
another turf monster, if you know what I mean.
Tremors. All right, Prime Minister, thank you so much. When's your article coming out, please?
Hopefully tomorrow, but there's an essay which needs to get started and finished first. So,
Okay, so the article will be done first, essay second. Perfect, then, Prime Minister. Thank you so much, sir.
of course, FPF over school.
What's the essay
all
about?
the time. It is about critical thinking in journalism, which is, I'm sure, what
Jesus.
keeps Peeze up at night.
That's a topic and a half in today's day and age.
That's why I
Yes.
left journalism.
All right, Prime Minister, thank you so much,
Classical
sir.
objectivity, is it attainable? Good night.
Thank you.
Later,
Good night,
dude.
Prime Minister. Prime Minister Alexi Dubois here with us. All right, it is now time for...
Games of the week.
Let's try this again. It is now time for...
Games of the week.
Oh, let's try this again here. It is now time for...
I don't know. Come up with something clever to say.
No, but you get to accentuate the games of the week.
I don't have to.
But you do.
I don't. It's not mandated in my contract.
What
Look
if
it
you
up.
were saying it in Times New Roman?
I can say it in other languages.
No, in the font. Say it in the font of your choosing.
In
say
the
it in
font-
Comic
Can I say it in
Sans.
Webdings?
Yes.
It's just square, bird, squiggly line, capital A.
All right, here we go.
Perfect. That's what I was waiting for. It's my favorite segment.
Let's race through the games here.
Tier 1, The Apocalypse, Blessed.
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 Urgence Medique, KGP.
UM.
But I don't like it.
EZW, Mangoose.
Easy
W, because I've been saying it all show.
Tier 2, Ravens, Team Ethnik.
Ravens.
Ravens.
Pinchello's, Glow Gang.
Pinchellos.
Yeah, Chelsea for me, please.
Arush, Bruins.
Arush.
Bruins.
KGP Ra, Mean Machine.
Ra.
Raw.
Unexpected Diablos, Grim Reapers.
I gotta pick Grim Reapers. I got called out for being wrong in them 4 times. So,
Reapers.
but if I'm wrong again, I'm never picking them again for the rest of my life. So, Grim Reapers.
Chocolate Thunder, Tough Lungs.
Thunder.
Thunder.
Centaur, Los Siete Amigos.
LSA.
Centaur.
Tier 3, The Penetrators, The West Yard.
Penetrators.
West Yard.
Post Malone's Knights, Lockdown.
Post Malone's Night Spy.
Post Malone boys.
The Stormers, Tim Brandy.
Stormers.
Tim Brandy.
Trailer Park Boys, Demons.
Trailer Park.
Yeah, Trailer Park.
Fave the Turftles, Fighting Cones.
Turf Tools.
Turf.
Free Agent Squad, FSU.
Free Agent Squad, baby.
Because False Kings, right?
Kings, that's right.
Killer Rays, Lionhearts.
Lionhearts.
Killer Race.
2 Inches Gang, Toon Squad.
Toon Squad.
7th Rounders, Save a Horse.
Save
Save
a
a
Horse.
Warriors, Pardon My Swag.
PMS.
Warriors.
Coed, Kiss My End Zone, The Rock.
Can't pick it. Kiss My End Zone by 50.
Kiss Man Zone.
And then a doubleheader, Yin and Yang versus Kiss My End Zone.
Can't pick it. Kiss My End Zone
Kiss
by
Man
50.
Zone.
EZFun, La Secte.
Easy fun.
Easy fun.
And that's going to be our games of the week for week 6.
I have a call out though.
Mhm.
Mo Khan has been saying, "I'll show La Secte is close to getting their first win," and then he gets a chance to pick them, and doesn't during
I'm a
square
realist
squiggly
as
line
well.
capital A.
I'm a
You had your
realist.
chance during square squiggly line capital A, and you didn't do it.
I'm a capitalist as well. We take where the money's given to us. The money line says otherwise. Okay, so again, for those for Laval, check your emails, check the Facebook group and the IG post of what will be the situation for crowds, if they'll be allowed to come in or not. And don't forget, registration begins now for winter.
It's already open. You can register until December 6th.
Where's the outro song?
We're still finishing this song as we're talking through things.
Yeah, but we're wrapped up now.
Yeah, but the song isn't finished.
I'm giving you the eagle look.
See, now you know how it feels, Mo. Now you know how it feels.
Yeah, okay, all right, there you go. Anyway, so we, again, for Laval, check out your emails, check out the Facebook group, or even the Instagram, social media posts. We'll have it up tomorrow if there's a change for crowds. Registration going on for winter season. A deadline is December 6th. So if you're looking to sign up, you got a couple of more weeks, if not 3 more weeks left before it closes for the winter 2022 registration. And what else do we need to notify the people?
Reminder, you need 4 games played for the knockout round. That's combined between qualification and the preliminary. So if you don't have enough, if you've never played, you're screwed because there's only 3 games left. Some teams only have 2 games, actually. Otherwise, if you have 1 game played, you got to be the next 3 in order to be playoff eligible.
Magic words, please.
Robert Woods, huh? Tough break.
Good night, OBJ.